here we go. Let's see. I'll read this. Oh boy, that would have been higher if I had saw the one shot, but her third try. Yeah, Mo. $50. Hey, I'll take it though. Thank you very much. I appreciate that, man. Here's a little something for the pain. Pyro, thank you very much for the 1,000 bits. I think I said it before, but thank you again. Asmon, I'm taking $100 off for no one shot, but you can do it second time. Mo, not quite, man. We did our best. Okay, let's see what this video is. Classic will never die. Okay. I didn't say that.
Okay.
Yeah. Okay.
We're just over the halfway mark with Battle for Azeroth, so what's next? Where is 9.0 going to take us? What is the story of the next expansion going to be? Well, there are no shortage of threats. Blizzard have been hard at work weaving the future plot threads. As with Argus,
they've been doing a good job at this too.
Could be the size of a patch or the size of an expansion, but what's decently certain is everything that we're going to cover in this video you will see in the future.
Okay.
Hey everyone, and welcome back to another Warcraft video. Yes, it is that time again. We are talking about future World of Warcraft expansions. So much lore has went down in game between 8.2 and 8.2.5 that it really has been a game changer. From Ashara being pulled into the void to Magni scrying the planet for Rathian, a lot is happening. But I'll tell you what, Magni took a massive risk. Scrying through the planet without protection is like browsing the web without today's sponsor, nordvpn.com/Bellular Gaming. While Azeroth probably is not going to grab Magni's credit card details, the same can't be said for you. Plus, there's so much more that you can gain from a VPN. Ever wanted to watch UK Netflix from the US? Easy. A VPN, or virtual private network, basically tunnels all the data that goes out of your computer and redirects it through a server of your choosing, allowing you to browse the web anonymously and from whatever location you want. I mean, Nord will even get you through China's Great Firewall. They don't log your data, and being registered in Panama, they're going to put you, the customer...
Did he call it China's Great Firewall?
I don't know.
Okay, that's actually really good. Doesn't even work on Netflix. Yeah, I don't know about that, man. Okay, Netflix knows whenever you're on a VPN. I don't know.
First, not your government. With over 5,000 servers in 62 countries and industry-leading encryption, you will be safe online with Nord. I've personally used Nord for ages, especially when I travel. I mean, seriously, never use public Wi-Fi without a VPN. It is so easy for that other person in the coffee shop to fire up Wireshark and just get all your data. Nord is so easy to use, and with my 75% off 3 years link, it is shockingly affordable. You just open the app, select a server, and that's it. You're good to go. There's even a handy browser extension. So go to nordvpn.com/Bellular Gaming for 75% off a 3-year subscription. That's less than the price of your monthly coffee. Plus you get a 3-month and a 30-day back money guarantee. So thank you to them for supporting this channel, what we're doing, and our new series. And with that, let's get into the video. First up, the Void Invasion. Battle for Azeroth is going to leave us in a tremendously squishy position. That much is certain. So, what better time for the enemy to invade? At least with the Legion, the Alliance and the Horde didn't have, you know, their cities be burnt and their lands be sacked. But this time, well, the Legion invaded us. And then we invaded each other. And that means if there is another invasion, well, now would be the opportune time to strike, just after BFA ends.
Thanks for 5 subs,
and while
man.
many expect the Void to come from below, well, in stark contrast to that, the Void could very much strike from above. Yes, it is time to talk about space. What is in space? Well, right now,
moon.
Not a great deal of light and a hell of a lot of void. Likely more than you would think.
There it is.
Those who played Legion patch 7.3 of course saw the return of the void corrupted ethereals, but that's only one aspect of the Void army. We have far more. You see, Syntharia, more recently called Sinestra, is confirmed to be alive, even if...
Wait, Syntharia is the same person as Sinestra?
You didn't know that?
No, I didn't know that.
What an idiot.
The blood of Syntharia flows through my veins and her voice whispers to me from the dark beyond. Holy shit.
We did defeat her at the start of Cataclysm. She is alive, and she seemingly is not on Azeroth, with the Twilight Dragonflight's day-to-day running seemingly being delegated to Vexonia, who you'll meet later on in the patch 8.2.
Yeah, we beat his ass.
So Syntharia is off-world. That seems like a crazy claim. It seems mad. But here is what Xerixius says to the Shaman player during the Legion expansion. The blood of Syntharia flows through my veins, and her voice whispers to me from the Dark Beyond. Now, in Warcraft, the Great Dark Beyond, that means physical space, right?
Space
in
dragons.
Warcraft, that is that is not the Twisting Nether, that is physical space. This confirms that somehow Syntharia is off-world. Now, of course, there are still thousands of Twilight eggs that are currently under Grim Batol, but the point does stand here.
That does make sense, though, because, like, whenever we kill Sinestra, she just goes underneath it. Like, you never, like, you don't loot her corpse. She just gets swallowed and she's gone. So, yeah, you think about that. That could actually make sense. World of StarCraft, yeah. Literal space dragons. That's amazing.
We have the leader of the Twilight Dragonflight being off in space and seemingly having the same allegiance as the other big space enemy that we've recently seen, the Ethereals. Now, who would take up a bit of leadership here? Well, you know, she could, Syntharia could, but alternatively, Xal'atath could. After all, Xal'atath, well, she did say this. So yeah, Xal'atath is off in space somewhere. I would not be surprised if she ended up leading these Void forces, with her serving as a massive villain, a new ethereal leader then cropping up, and then Syntharia leading the Twilight Dragons, and maybe a little crop of Dark Naru or something like that.
That's actually really cool.
Expansion, this would be the Void coming down to us from space,
fucking awesome.
invading us after Battle for Azeroth, but it is possible to do the opposite and have us leave the planet and take the fight to them. What's clear, though, is that even without the old gods, and this is really my point here, the Void could serve as an enemy. No N'Zoth, no Cthulhu, no Yogg-Saron, there's still plenty of Void there for us to fight. Now, what about key characters? Well, in this expansion, it's pretty darn clear. There's the Windrunner sisters, Locust Walker, of course, and then whatever light-aligned heroes Blizzard choose.
I never
Maybe
liked him.
Velen. I think it would
Thought
be
he
a
was
great
stupid.
choice to choose Velen if Blizzard wanted to start teasing the darker side of the light and have that be experienced by a character that people love and trust.
Yeah, that'd be
that would really
badass.
give him great character development. Then zone-wise, well, this invasion could be centered on a new landmass on Azeroth. They could pull a Warlords of Draenor and have us end up going to the enemy, delivering us Outland-like visuals, but with that delicious modern Blizzard art style. So
I think that's what everybody's wanted for a long time. I mean, that's what they thought WoD was going to be, right? It's like Outland, kind of, but before it was Outland. It's like the same way Nagrand was and like Gorgorond. Like, zones like that are really cool. And if they redid something like Outland again and like the graphics and quality that they can do now, it'd be fucking amazing.
The Void invasion, and before we tackle the more likely Void expansion that I think we'll get, let's just do something entirely different. World of Warcraft expansions can of course come
Outland
out
for a
of
third
nowhere,
time.
just like Mists of Pandaria, an expansion that now is very well regarded indeed, a lot of that being for its explorative feel in its new world. So how could Blizzard do that again? Well, simple, the rear of Azeroth, and in fact they may have just sown the first seeds of that. When Mother completes her analysis in patch 8.2, Blizzard added a dialogue option where you can ask her what else she discovered, and she says this to the player: additional Titan facility detected, status unknown, recommendation do not approach or engage.
Oh,
now, here's the thing.
wow.
This facility, it could be N'Zoth's prison, the one from the raid.
Oh, wow.
But I believe there are two other alternatives, plus I don't think that one at the raid is that much of a surprise to us. So what are the two options? Well, there's whatever is underneath the vault in the heart of the dream, or perhaps there is an entirely new facility, maybe one on the other side of the planet, and this is the seed. This is the thing that will take us there. This is what would lead us into a new expansion, one that is purposefully out of left field, giving Blizzard an opportunity to break from the mold, like Mists of Pandaria did, and give players a more explorative expansion. Blizzard could use this quite easily to send us over to a
really
fresh land
cool.
with a fresh Titan facility and a lot
Yeah,
more to
what the
explore.
fuck? That'd
and
be
once
awesome.
there, they can do just about anything. That's really the point here. Now,
It's like Mists of Pandaria. That's true. Like, Mists of Pandaria came straight the fuck out of left field. Everybody thought it was going to be like, oh, it's going to be this, it's going to be that. It's going to be like, oh, Deathwing's Revenge and the old gods and all of this other, oh, the Lich King's going to come back. Bolvar is going to attack us. Illidan's going to be back or something like that. And nobody fucking expected Mists of Pandaria. And for good reason, by the way. For good reason. Chazzik, thank you very much for the 5 to the community, gifted community subs. Thank you, man. But at this point, maybe they could just kind of take it in a completely different direction. I don't know how I would feel about that, though, because they've been kind of leading everybody up to expect one thing to happen and then just to completely change gears and go somewhere else. I feel like that could be frustrating for a lot of people.
theme-wise. You could tie this into Azeroth's corruption. It could end with Azeroth being corrupted, or you could go a little bit deeper into the nature of Azeroth and the Titans and really get into that lore. We know that ships that sail west of Kalimdor or east of the Eastern Kingdoms don't return. So there's almost certainly something that is happening that is making that be the case. Plus, narratively, that could lead to something so cool with these lost expeditions. Think about this, right? Expeditions leave there, but they cannot return. That would mean that fresh civilizations could have sprung up, disconnected from us, and it would be pretty incredible to explore that. And I guess if you need a way to explain how we didn't see all of that from the Vindicar, well, you could have a Mists of Pandaria-like situation because of the Titan facility and whatever.
Or they just fucking add a new continent, the same as they do all the time. Like, I don't think Blizzard, like with big shit like that, Blizzard just change it. Just change it. Be like, new expansion, new lore. Okay, hey, it's the way it goes, right? It's like at the beginning, like, oh, wow, you didn't expect Northrend to be on the map. You were just there. Everybody knows about Northrend, the fucking King of Stormwind. Like, whatever, fucking Arthas died there, right? Or Arthas is there as a Lich King. Of course it's going to be on the map, but somehow it's not on the map in the fucking in vanilla WoW or BC. Give me a break.
Preventing people from returning.
Blizzard's not above retconning shit, and they shouldn't be.
Obstructed the rear of Azeroth from our Vindicar vantage point. Plus, the Vindicar is in more of an international space station-like orbit around Azeroth. It's not a really far-off geostationary one, and that means that its cone of vision actually does not cover that much of the planet's area.
What?
This one is a bit of a wild card, but it certainly would be exciting. Next, though, let's move on to something that is almost certainly the most predictable expansion idea, Rise of the Black Empire. So, yeah, sure, N'Zoth is free, but the core of his character is that he's less of a fighter, and he's more of a plotter, a schemer. And that means that I doubt that his goal is just to fight us and be done with it. Chances are that N'Zoth wants far more. He probably wants to bring back the Black Empire by resurrecting his now dormant frenemies, Cthulhu and Yogg-Saron. Now, I want you to think about how massive N'Zoth was and how we know that he is the weaker of the old gods, right? We saw him in patch 8.2.
Yep.
He's a massive dude. So it's very clear that in Anchorage and Ulduar, we were fighting like physical manifestations of those old gods. I mean, if you look at N'Zoth, we know what the scale of Y'Shaarj is, so there's no way that Yogg and Cthulhu could be that small. Plus,
so Aman'Thul just pulled that. Yeah, I remember. Yeah, he pulled that fucker up like a weed. He's like, get the fuck out of here. And yeah, with how's Aman'Thul so small? I don't know. It doesn't make sense. I don't know how they can like change their sizes. I've always thought that was a little weird.
Cho'Gall was like trying to reawaken Cthulhu. He couldn't do that if Cthulhu was entirely
Cho'Gall's
obliterated.
stupid.
So, 3 old gods. That would, well, drastically change the face of Azeroth. That would pave the way for an expansion not unlike the Age of Darkness, what I think is a fake leak. You know, one where you see zone revamps and a big focus on the world.
we watched this.
One that would really perfectly match the narrative of us saving it. After all, we saw that Yogg-Saron was a little bit active during Legion. So basically, if Blizzard wants another Cataclysm, that's the ticket. That's what they'll do. Then next up, World of Warcraft Shadowlands. This is another major part of the game's lore that has not really been expanded, much like how the Emerald Dream had not really been expanded upon until Blizzard had content for it. You see, based on Chronicle, the Emerald Dream seems to have been born out of Azeroth herself. And it says this about the Shadowlands. The Shadowlands are tangentially linked to the world of Azeroth. Yet, whereas the Emerald Dream represents life, the Shadowlands represent
So it's the bad Emerald Dream.
So, while
it's the Emerald Nightmare.
Fleshed out in the game, not being more than really just a screen filter whenever your character dies, that might not be the case for too long. What could we find in the Shadowlands? What would actually go on there? Well, honestly, nobody knows. It's not a nice place, that's for sure. I worry that it might not be enough for a full expansion worth of visual variety, but I think this could be a major patch. Now, storytelling-wise, things would actually flow extremely naturally. You've got key characters like Sylvanas, the Lich King, Bomsamdi, and Vol'jin, all really clear choices.
The only one I care about there is the Lich King.
You may not be aware of. You've got Muzala, the very mysterious Deathlord that I covered in this video quite a while ago, who may actually be Bomsamdi's boss, but if Muzala isn't Bomsamdi's boss, we need to work work out who Bomb Samity's boss is. Then, of course, there's Odin and Helya. Helya, of course, knows the Shadowlands very well because of her pact with, well, you know, you saw the pact with Sylvanas, you know what Helya's job is and how that connects to the Shadowlands. Then plus Odin, through the sacrifice of his eye to a mysterious Shadowland spirit, he can actually see into the Shadowlands. So really, as you can see here, narratively, so many characters and plot lines just converge with the Shadowlands, especially as Blizzard have further established Kalia Menethil and Talia, the daughter of Bolvar, who is, of course, our current Lich King.
That's a lot.
So almost no matter what, whether it is an expansion or a patch, or maybe an Emerald Nightmare-like raid, I'm pretty darn sure you are going to see this be in the game. Then next up, we have Elune. Wow. Now this, like the other side of Azeroth expansion, is one that would offer Blizzard the opportunity to take us to somewhere that is wholly new. But unlike that idea, this one has a decent amount of lore establishment, both literally and thematically. So first, I've got to give you the usual Elune spiel, but I'll keep it short. In Legion, every Titan had a pillar of creation bar Eonar, seemingly linking her to the Tears of Elune. Now that's compounded by how we save Eonar from the Legion on a world called Elunaria, in a complex called the Ilarian Sanctuary, and also Ilarian is the prefix for a TBC set of gear, showing the Blizzard might have had this in their minds for quite some time. Now, while on Elunaria, you can see multiple other worlds, maybe worlds that are orbiting it, or worlds that it is orbiting, or a world that it's orbiting. It's hard to tell from our point of view on the planet. Now,
you know what's crazy for me to think, dude? Is like, what if they did all this shit on purpose? Because, like, a lot of times I just assume that they just put shit, throw shit together and, you know, eventually things converge and it actually makes sense, right? But if they actually did all this on purpose, that's fucking insane.
Dungeon Journal says that the Ilarian Sanctuary is Eonar's personal sanctuary, implying that she has a history with that location, almost certainly showing some sort of connection with Elune herself. Unless it is the case that Eonar took on the Elune role to watch over Azeroth, kind of masking herself as a goddess, knowing how important Azeroth was. But if that's not the case, then the Sanctuary and that world, well, they could have fallen given Eonar's absence. But, well, recently. But more likely, Elune is just a separate entity and the two of them are connected. So Elunaria could be expanded out, it could be a future location, or perhaps the worlds around it could be as well. Blizzard could do essentially something like Outland, but where we would travel to a land that is defined by light, not by fel. Of course, that would be right in time to play with all of the recent work that they've done with the light. You know, Yrel seemingly turning a bit evil. We're constantly seeing Void characters talk about the tyranny of the light. We know that light and Void need each other to exist, and that they're essential components of the universe.
Who's this, the Jedi and the Sith?
We've got Ilaria embracing Void for good. We've got Yrel embracing the light for evil. So Blizzard could do so much with a light-themed expansion, and given how there are only so many islands they can put onto Azeroth, well, I wonder when we will see a new full-sized space expansion. I mean, come on.
That's true.
It might seem crazy,
but
heading to space has been a part of the Warcraft IP since the very beginning, especially Warcraft 2, The Dark Portal.
That's such a badass fucking picture, dude.
Warcraft expansion was going to space. So I think an expansion like this could cover really cool narrative content. It could take us to a beautiful, new, interesting land with darkness being below it, seeping in. It could further the game's lore, and it could bring us plenty of, like, interesting characters. We could deal with Elune, Tyrande, Velen, Anduin, Bane, and when you look into the themes, we have the dark side of Elune being explored in the game. What do I mean by that? Well, you saw the ritual of the Night Warrior happen, you know, in patch 8.1 with Tyrande. Tyrande would be a perfect character to bring into this, especially because it seems like Tyrande may be having some sort of conflict with the rest of the Alliance, because Blizzard have teased the Alliance having a bit of a fracture. So as you can see, with the light,
it wasn't Warcraft 3 too,
and Elune being full of mystery and being teased with recently, there is so much pointing towards, I'm not going to say an Elune expansion, it could be an Elune expansion, but major involvement from Elune in the game. And let's be real, Blizzard, I mean, they're just throwing islands onto, this is going to be a really, really obscure one, they're throwing islands onto Azeroth like the modelers from Lord of the Rings just threw stuff onto the side of Garth Mog's face. Yeah, what's the Lord of the Rings Return of the King special features? But anyway, that is it for this video. That is where I think Blizzard could be going with the direction of the game. I would love to know, what expansions do you want to see? What are your lore ideas? Please let me know down below. And yeah, with that, thank you very much for watching this video, and I'll see you next time.
Alright, so I've said this a number of times. I am more excited for the next expansion than I was for Legion or BFA. I want to get it. Just 1 second. I'm gonna cue this LFR for fucking Old Deer. Only druids and rogues queue up. Only druids and rogues queue up. That's it. Only druids and rogues. That's all I need. Druids and rogues. Just a second. Minimum. Asmongold. Old Deer. Okay. Minimum IL 4. I'll just do 420. Okay. Only druids and rogues. Okay. Let's get this done. So listen. Just get over with BFA. Nobody gives a shit anyway. Yeah, I can see why you say that. I kind of agree with you in a lot of ways. I mean, I think most people just want to kind of be done with BFA. That's the way that at least I feel about it, is I'm just kind of, I want to see something new. I want to see the main storyline of the game be moved forward. Speak for yourself. Well, oh yeah, okay, I know that some people want to see what's going to happen at the end of BFA. If Sylvanas is like the end boss and all of this other dumbass shit ends up happening, I'm going to be disappointed, okay? I will definitely say that. We do need a tank here for this too, though. Let's get a tank. Zircon, just go tank or something like that. Okay, we got 23 people. Let's just get 25. Okay, that should be fine, and we can just sort everything out as it happens. Okay, Sylvanas is boss. Warbringers? I don't know about that. I'm trying to trade you some BOEs. That my name is Quick Jolt. Wait, you want to trade me, but you have I have you on ignore? I don't see your name. Let me just trade you. Okay. Give me a second here. But I do think the video is good. Let's see here. Where's the rest of this? Best sponsor you've let in with done yet? Well played. The sponsor ad was so smooth. I can finally rotate the planet on the map screen. I would be so happy. That would be really fucking badass. But seems to be falling into the but evil trap for storylines. Elune but evil, the light but evil, etc. Yeah, I think that a lot of people have kind of gone into that ever since the whole Game of Thrones thing with, like, things being good and bad at the same time, And I don't know, like making everything like